5, 6, or 7 people who were injured in the shooting. We've heard of no fatalities, but the others injured might have been injured in the ensuing panic to vacate the area.
And the gunman himself, we're told by one of the trustees at Northern Illinois, took his own life. Let's go back to Dane Placco, who's in the newsroom with some more information for us. Dane?
I just wanted to make mention of the fact that I did cover that story, Mark and Robin, back in December 10th, I think you mentioned about the racial threats. It was scrawled on a bathroom wall, as I recall, in one of the tall dormitories on campus. It referenced the Virginia Tech shootings, and also there were some racial references as well. The students were very upset about it. Finals were canceled for one day as the university investigated. African American students were quite concerned about it, held a large meeting and rally, met with the university president off campus. There was added security on campus that day that we saw, a lot of police cars, a lot of campus police, but most of the students believed that there was really nothing to it. It was just an ugly prank. And of course, as you were pointing out, we don't know that this had anything to do with it either. This may simply be a coincidence.
All right, thanks, Tim. The campus has told everybody, including broadcasters, to tell parents of students, I should say tell students to call their parents, because they've been inundated with phone calls to the campus that have jammed things up. So if by chance you're watching television, you're hearing this, or you're online, you're asked as a student at Northern Illinois University to call your parents, tell them you're safe. That'll alleviate some of the traffic on the phone lines, and we do have those phone numbers for you.
These are phone numbers, actually, that I think that you can call to find out if your students are safe. These are the contact numbers there, because a lot of your students' cell phones,
like that one right there going on.
And I was actually waiting for a call from someone, another student who was a relative of a friend who might have been a witness, but that's not who that was. But that's why my phone is ringing, excuse me. But some of the cell phones there are not working. Probably, everybody starts calling all at once, and it kind of jams the whole frequency up, and nobody can get through. So don't panic if you can't get your student on their cell phone. But here are some numbers you can call to the university itself, and your student is to have checked in with someone there, so that person can say, yes, your student is not among those injured. And certainly if yours was among those injured, they would be making every effort to contact you.
Every number on there you can see begins 815-753, and we also have the numbers on myfoxchicago.com. So 815-753, and then 6 different numbers that the university has set up for parents or loved ones to call in to check and see if their students or relatives on campus are okay. And again, if you're a student, call your parents now. The university really wants you to do this to clear up some of these phone lines. To recap for you, a shooting at Cole Hall, which is apparently some oceanography or geology class today. About 3:20, gunman walks in the emergency door on the side and opens fire with a shotgun, apparently had a pistol, according to some witnesses, in his hand as well. Man fired off as many as 20 shots, and injuring what may be 15, 17, 18 people, maybe shot 6 to 7, and 3 to 4 have head injuries, we're told. And we're told that that classroom was actually kind of a theater area, so there was a stage door that the gunman walked in. There were 3 entrances to that classroom, so really the bulk of the students were able to run out the other entrances and exits of the classroom and alert everyone else out in the hallway and nearby that there was a gunman on the loose, and for people to get down and go out of the way. And as one student we talked to said, some people didn't believe it, and they had to go outside and see for themselves, and they could see it was blood splattered on the ground. We also talked with a student who talked about seeing 2 of the injured and hysterical student and an injured student just sitting on the ground as emergency crews were coming into the area. But again, the situation is under control. The gunman is said to have killed himself. There is no further need for worry on that campus. It's just a matter now of figuring out how serious the injuries are to those who have been taken to area hospitals. But again, we have had no reports that any of those injuries are fatals, which is certainly good news. Go to myfoxchicago.com throughout the afternoon. We'll have updates as warranted on television. Then we'll be back. Complete coverage tonight. Fox News Chicago at 9 and on the 10.
Campaign trail together movement for the arms and shoulders. John Edwards, meanwhile, could be backing Hillary Clinton for president. Is that the price of admission into a future cabinet, or is it more heartfelt than that? We'll tell you in a minute.
students, you're all staying right here. They made sure nobody moved about the campus, although immediately after the shooting, there was a lot of milling around right outside the building. And I'm sure as students started to get word for a moment, those who were outside and out of contact didn't know what had happened and were a bit confused and wanted to find out. But we've heard from many students who went back to the dormitory and stayed in their rooms and did the things they are supposed to do. So we're going to presume that there was a plan put in place by Northern Illinois University after that threat in December, and that the plan went into effect today. And we can hope, certainly, that the plan worked.
Some of the students who did call us here at the station did say that there was an alert on the website, and they were alerted by emails. And just moments ago, you could see some of the numbers that family members can call, and we need to tell you that, according to a spokesperson from Kishwaukee Community Hospital in DeKalb, 17 people were brought to that hospital, 3 of them in code red, which is a very serious condition. However, 2 of those victims are being transported, one already and one in the process being transported by helicopter to trauma centers, because Kishwaukee Community Hospital is not a trauma center. However, St. Anthony's Hospital in Rockford is, and they will be receiving these victims in the most serious condition. Now, the 2 that have been transported by helicopter, according to the spokesperson at Kishwaukee Hospital, were shot with head injuries. There are 8 in yellow, and those are chest head injuries, and she said that perhaps there was some shrapnel flying and also gunshot wounds, but there is some good news that 6 of the victims brought to the hospital remain in very good condition.
Let's check back in the newsroom with Chuck Gowdy. Chuck?
Ron, the student newspaper website's reporting that the gunman died of a self-inflicted gunshot wound. There was some speculation earlier that the first responding law enforcers inside Cole Hall might have shot and killed him, but the police are now confirming on the Northern Illinois Student Newspaper website that indeed the gunman shot and killed himself, bringing this incident to an end. We're also being told that in about 8 minutes we'll hear from authorities at Northern Illinois, the first briefing that they will hold to sort out some of these details. And we also have on the phone with us now a Northern Illinois University freshman, Julie Dreyfall, who was apparently standing outside in a hallway in Cole Hall when the shooting began. Julie, is that correct?
Yeah, I was actually sitting waiting for my class that was supposed to be in the classroom that had the shooting at 30. And I was sitting listening to my music, waiting for my class, and then all of a sudden I heard loud gunshots, and I didn't assume that it was a shooting until people started filing outside of the classroom, and then this guy grabbed me from behind and he told me that there was a shooting, and we all just started sprinting for our lives pretty much, and we just ran through the parking lot as fast as possible.
How many people do you think would have been inside that lecture hall at the time the shooting happened?
Oh, there was at least a good 200, I'd say.
That was the class you were supposed to go into?
My class is supposed to be the next class after this.
So that class indeed was finishing up at that point of the shooting?
Yeah, it probably had about 5-10 minutes left to go.
Did you see the gunman, or did you see somebody who was wearing a black knit ski cap, skinny white person walk in?
No, I didn't. I heard that he came in through the front of the classroom, and I was towards the doors that are at the back of the classroom, so I didn't even see anything.
How many gunshots did you hear?
I heard about 4 while I was still inside, and then we just ran. So I still heard shooting as I was running outside, but I wasn't really paying attention. I was just trying to run as fast as possible.
Yeah. Do you know anything about guns?
I don't.
Okay. Did all 4 of the gunshots that you heard sound identical?
Yes.
Well, they all sounded like they were like pops. Did it sound like a pop gun, or was it deeper than that?
It was like a pop.
Okay. Do you know anyone who was in that classroom, Julie?
No, I don't. I just met a guy when I was waiting outside, and he told me about how he saw the guy come in with a shotgun and shoot into like the first like 10 or 15 rows.
So you were told that the